Welcome. This is Uncommon Sense, a podcast presented by the Heshi CPA Knowledge Center. The center is an initiative of the CPA Education Foundation, the charitable arm of the Chartered Professional Accountant profession in Alberta. Our episodes feature conversations with Alberta CPAs sharing their insights on a wide range of timely topics. Alberta CPAs work in every part of the economy and volunteer their time and expertise in virtually every community in Alberta. With each episode, we bring you voices and perspectives that reflect the diverse knowledge and contributions that CPAs bring to our province.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense. I'm Kevin Spela with the CPA Education Foundation and your host for this episode. We're going to be talking to two Alberta CPAs who have made an incredible commitment to helping Black post-secondary students achieve their goal of becoming CPAs. Ako and Chioma Ufodike have teamed up with the accounting firm of MNP to establish a brand new student award at the CPA Education Foundation. Thanks to their vision, the MNP and Ufodike Business Award of Excellence for Black post-secondary students was created, with the first scholarships being awarded this year. As significant as this award is, it is only the latest example of their long commitment to students' education and the CPA profession. Both Chioma and Ako are passionate believers in helping others succeed, and their careers have been defined by dedication, service, and a focus on excellence. Chioma Ufodike, FCPA, FCMA, is an experienced leader in finance, regulatory compliance, risk management, and forensic accounting, with over 22 years of experience spanning across various industries. She is the Chief Compliance Officer at Olympia Trust Company and serves on a number of provincial, national, and not-for-profit boards. She also recently served on the board of our very own CPA Education Foundation and is an active volunteer for the CPA profession in Alberta. Dr. Ako Ufodike is a finance executive, public administration leader, and educator. He is an associate professor at York University and an adjunct associate professor at the Haskayne School of Business at the University of Calgary. Prior to academia, he spent 25 years as a senior finance executive across telecommunications, banking, oil and gas, utilities, and consumer packaged goods. He also served Alberta as a deputy minister with the Government of Alberta until 2025. His leadership and public service have been recognized with numerous professional and civic honors. Obviously, these two are very high-achieving CPAs, and I'm happy they've joined me to talk about their careers and what led them to creating the Foundation's newest award. Hello, and welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here.
So let's dive right in. Regular listeners to our podcast know that we start each episode by asking our guests to share a piece of uncommon sense. This might be a piece of advice or a pearl of wisdom that you picked up over the course of your career. So I'm pretty sure that both of you have at least one such life hack to tell our listeners. So let's start with you, Chioma.
Okay, so a piece of uncommon sense that I would say is literally that common sense is not common, right? At first glance, you would think that, everybody has common sense. It sounds like something everyone should naturally possess. But I think what feels obvious to one person may completely be unfamiliar with somebody else, right? And I think that perspective has helped shape how I think about leadership, which simply means you can't just rely on assumptions.
Right.
You have to set, clear expectations, recognizing that people interpret information differently. So leaders make unspoken spoken and they assume explicit because common sense is simply not common.
That sounds very wise. So I guess...
It's a cliche, right?
Okay,
Ako, it's your turn. See if you can beat that.
I don't think I can beat it. But anyways, so I'll take a slightly different approach to the question and make it career focused, right? So my advice would be to be open to growing sideways. So quite often, early career professionals think of growth as being, professional growth as being a hierarchy, right? Like being promoted into a different role. From my experience, I got quite a bit of growth by taking on other lateral roles that might have come with increased responsibility or a different scope of challenges. And ultimately, at the right time, I was able to harness all of those lateral roles into more senior roles. So my advice would be that sometimes we grow sideways, not necessarily upwards.
Okay, that's definitely an interesting perspective for sure. Again, we'll dive right back into the hard questions. You both have had very distinguished careers as chartered professional accountants, lending your skills and expertise to a range of sectors and roles. So I'm wondering if each of you can briefly speak about what it has meant to you to be CPAs and how the designation has contributed to your career success.
So I would say for me, growing up back in Nigeria, I think my parents always saw me as the accountant, I guess because of my personality. I'm quite structured and I was good in numbers. But I think in many ways that prediction has become reality. Not only am I an accountant, I specialize in forensic accounting.
Right.
But I think that earning my CPA has been a very prestigious milestone in that it helped shape my career trajectory into where I am today and opened meaningful doors that I never thought I would, walk through or be in. So I think, the CPA profession definitely helped me in my professional growth and advancement.
Okay. I guess over to you, Ako.
Yeah, so it's a combination of that, the reputational capital that comes with being a CPA. It provides validation, right, to the market, to your employer and to prospective employers that a lot of what you claim in terms of expertise on a resume has indeed gone through a formal accreditation process, but also has withstood the test of various challenging tests, and obviously has the experience and pedigree to back it. So the reputational credibility that came from running the CPA was very useful. I would say was the primary factor from a professional credential standpoint that got my career started. But in addition to that, becoming a CPA also gives you growth in confidence, right? Certainty that you can do what it is that you purport that you can, and it lets you do it with structure, with confidence, knowing that ultimately there's a method to the work you produce that makes it reliable to the users of the financial statement. So the CPA gave me the reputation I needed to step into different roles, but it also gave me, the confidence, this sort of the intangible softer skills to go out and feel like I could, take on any role and do it quite well.
Okay, right. That's great. Chioma, you mentioned that you specialized in the area of forensic accounting, and I read it in the intro. And I understand you hold a master's degree in that field. It's a topic that intrigues a lot of people. Can you maybe summarize what a forensic accountant does, and if you have any interesting stories that you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I often say that forensic accountants are storytellers. We're simply storytellers. We tell the story about the flow of funds in an organization. So money comes in, money goes out, and there's something in between. So we tell the story of the trajectory of that flow of funds, right? So we show what just happened, but why it happened and why it happened that way. I've led a lot of investigations, a lot of which are underprivileged that I can't really talk about,
Right.
but I've investigated, misappropriations from lawyers' trust accounts, and I've also testified as expert witness at disciplinary hearings.
Okay.
So just investigating defalcations, whether it's money laundering, terrorist financing situations, fraud committed by employees, internal or external. So it's a very interesting field of accounting. Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way, right? Al Capone didn't go to jail for any of the crimes you would think he should have,
right.
But he went for tax evasion, and it was a bunch of forensic accountants that sent him there.
Well, there you go. Ako, you recently served as Deputy Minister with the Government of Alberta. What was involved in that role, and what was that experience like for you? Speaking of interesting jobs.
Yeah. So a deputy leads, programming, right, for a government department. So at that time, there was 26 ministries. I led 2 ministries. The first was trade, and then I was also the deputy minister for immigration. So responsible for all things related to, domestic trade and international trade. So think of it as being policy, programming, and then obviously operations. Operations being, leading all employees of that ministry, right? So HR issues and related operational matters. But the two that are not as intuitive are related to policy. Policy sometimes could mean working with the political side, so the minister and the legislature to bring forward legislation and doing all of the policy work, thinking through the risks, thinking through the benefits, thinking through jurisdictional comparisons, what other provinces are doing that we could learn from, and bringing all of that into a meaningful policy framework that serves the people of the province productively. And then once that policy is implemented, there might be programs that have to be implemented, right, to achieve the purpose of the policy. So I was responsible for policy and programming related to trade, and subsequently to immigration, and multiculturalism, which is an area of shared constitutional jurisdiction with the federal government.
Okay, so I guess my question is, what was that like for you? Like, it's a little different from your regular 9-to-5 office job.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So coming into government was a third career for me, right, of sorts. I mean, I spent the first 20-something odd years in industry, and when you think of the private sector, right, we live in a world of change, right? I mean, we always have, but post 2020, we live in a world of exponential change, right?
Yeah.
People are approaching supply chains differently. Some would argue we live in a world today where what we knew about trade has been redefined in many ways. So whether that's trade between Canada and the U.S. or the U.S. and its European partners. So I came from the private sector where the pace was obviously different, where, if you work in technology, change was constant. And then you come into the public service where change quite often is incremental, but it still happens, where innovation may not mean the same thing as it does in the private sector, but still needs to happen because, as a province and as a country, we continue to face issues of affordability, productivity, and things that need new approaches that are different from the way we've approached this in the past. So at first glance, you might think that it was a very different environment, and indeed it was from a pace of change. But it still came down to applying a lot of the same skill sets to looking at the same problems through different eyes to come up with different approaches, right? That ultimately still brought about change for the benefit of taxpayers in the province.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks for that. Obviously, you've both had very interesting and varied careers, and you both worked hard to maximize the value and the impact of your CPA designations. Now, with the establishment of the M&P and Ufodike Business Award of Excellence for Black post-secondary students, you're paying it forward to support the next generation of CPAs. What is the purpose of this award, and where did the idea come from?
So maybe I'll start from the genesis of the idea, and then I'll let Ako kind of take it forward. I think I'm a big believer that giving back creates a virtuous circle that makes everyone more successful, right? So I got my undergraduate degree from University of Toronto, and I was a receiver of an award, a scholarship or bursary from the University of Toronto and from another organization, the BBPA. So it's come full circle, right?
Right.
So this is about paying it forward because I was a recipient and I know what that did for me financially. So working 2 jobs, not able to make ends meet, having to pay, go to school full time and pay my tuition, just applying for and being awarded that bursary or grant or scholarship went a long way in terms of, helping alleviate the financial burden or hardship, when I was going to school. So it is a lot about paying it forward. So maybe now I'll hand it over to Ako to kind of talk about the genesis, how this came about, the partnership with MMP, and we'll talk a little bit about the award.
Okay.
So like Chioma as well. I had the benefit of going to attending university when I was really young. When my parents picked up the bill. But also, after I moved to Canada, I earned another degree where I was in my mid-20s at that point. I was working, and I had a decent income. But, this is true for a lot of immigrants, and especially Black immigrants who are going through re-credentialing after moving to a new country.
Right.
That while they might be working, and won't qualify for a lot of the needs-based funding programs that exist. It doesn't really contemplate the fact that they have expenses that other students may not have. So they still have a need, even though their income levels might suggest or give the appearance that they should be able to fund their education without any issues. So it's about providing a hand up. I did also receive a scholarship from the BBPA. I did not qualify. I had exceptional grades. I did not qualify for any other bursaries because I always failed the needs test. But I was a breadwinner supporting older parents back home, and so this program really looks to bridge that gap, recognizing that first of all that there's a lived context that some Black students might have where they won't qualify for needs-based grants or scholarships, but there's still the need.
Right.
But over and beyond that, the profession has been incredible to Chioma and I. Right. Again, I don't think that there's a single thing that has made as much of a difference to my professional growth than that decision to take the CPA. So I'd like to obviously encourage Black students to consider the career, right? To consider a career in accounting. And if, providing mechanisms like this that help with some funding is effective as a tool to attract others to the profession, then I think, we would have done our job here. Okay. So I met an incredible partner at MMP, Mariessa, at an event. It was at a luncheon. We spoke about many things. Right. And then I said to her, hey, my wife and I are thinking of doing a scholarship, right? And we've spoken to a bunch of other accounting firms, but, we haven't necessarily seen an uptake, right, in terms of, values alignment. Mm-hmm. And Mariessa took it, ran, with it like a pit bull. I got to meet the incredible Nick Greenfield, and obviously with the CPA, in the room as well, the CPA Education Foundation, Rachel Miller. Right. We sort of worked it out and, came up with an incredible program that I think students will find useful, but it will also be, effective in attracting students to the profession as well, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned that your values aligned with MNP, and so they obviously believe in this award and in supporting Black students. What does it mean to you to know that a large accounting firm like that chose to support this award?
Yeah, really, really important, right? It's so. I mean, I don't think there's a right way to say this, right? I mean, a lot of what we see, related to EDI can be performative, right? And it's not often you find organizations that are also willing to vote with their checkbook.
Right.
So MMP, even prior to this engagement, I know of the work they do in our indigenous communities. And so I've always looked at MMP as a firm that's really big on equity programming. And I guess this was the test of that in my first sort of commercial engagement with them. And they came true and stood true to their values. So I can tell that our values align, just given the way this conversation went and how responsive and how supportive they were in making it happen.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I think for me, I would say, the endorsement just shows that advancing equity and representation in an industry is not just valued, right? Like Ako said, organizations talk about it, but this one, there's an action, right? And because they're supporting it, and not just supporting, they're actively supporting it because the award is for over a period of time. And it's just incredible and encouraging to see an organization their size, right?
Yeah.
And influence, recognize the impact that these types of awards can have. And, for us, it's just really humbling because it strengthens our commitment to doing this work. And I'm really hoping that other organizations can see this and hopefully, partner with us to do this because it's for a great cause.
Right. Yeah, no, thank you for that. And I know you did kind of touch on this already, but your award focuses on Black students who are aspiring to become CPAs. Are there experiences that you've had in your lives that led you to creating this award dedicated to Black students? Like I said, you did kind of already touch on this, but I don't know if there's any more you'd want to expand on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just reiterate, right, that, again, in my case, when I was a student, I was an undergrad student, but also, taking, one of the legacy CPA programs. I needed a hand up, right? I mean, because again, I was the primary breadwinner. I mean, I had a younger brother in university, a younger sister in university, and, two old parents that I was taking care of. But I did not qualify for any grants, a single needs-based. Most programs out there were needs-based, right?
Okay.
And I did get a scholarship from the Black Business Professional Association. It wasn't needs-based, right? You applied, you had incredible grades, you got funded, and so I always recognize that setting up a scholarship that wasn't based on financial need necessarily, and that doesn't suggest that there isn't a place for programs related to financial needs.
Right.
There is, but we can look at all students, just like Chioma said about common sense not being common, as being the same, right? They're not. It's not a homogeneous economic situation across all students. So this just provides an avenue for students who have the grades and need a hands up to stay focused on their program and not be distracted with economic issues.
Yeah. So just going to add on to what Ako said. So when I received my award at U of T, I think I qualified based on need. I really needed it. So happy that I got it. But yeah, I think our lived experiences played a major role for us in creating this award, right? And when you look in Alberta, and I think I'm just going to focus on Alberta right now, Black accounting students are often underrepresented, right?
Okay.
And we created this award because we just want to remove that barrier to entry. If financial assistance is a barrier to entry, perhaps this could help alleviate that financial burden. And our hope is that it not only provides financial assistance, but also sends a message that there's a place for Black students in the profession and that their success matters, right? By removing one of the barriers to entry. So
I'll add something else that I think we're removing several barriers because MMP as a partner also offered to provide, through their staff, mentorship to the students. So those who receive the scholarship will have the opportunity to be mentored by, their future selves. So MMP professional accountants, they'll have opportunities to spend part of their internships, which they'll undertake over the summers as students, right, with MMP. Again, all of this will lend, themselves to their ability to attach to the workforce when they graduate, right? Because they've been mentored by other accountants. They'll have a resume that shows they've done some internships with MMP. It will make them more appealing to any prospective employer and frankly, including MMP, who may very well decide not to let them go and compete in the marketplace and offer them a job when they graduate. So it's taking down the entry barrier, but also ensuring that those barriers stay down until when the students attach to the workforce.
Okay. Speaking generally, what would your advice be to Black post-secondary students who are perhaps facing difficulties in terms of their education and career planning?
Yeah, so what I would say about that is just seek help very early, right? Just know when you need help and seek help. Mm-hmm. Seek out mentors and community, because a lot of people don't know when to seek out help. And when I talk about is mentorship and sponsorship, right?
Right.
So mentorship is somebody who will provide you with the guidance, with tools, take you under their wings, and kind of mentor you. But sponsorship is somebody who would talk about you or name drop you in rooms that you probably never even have access to. So it's important to seek out, whether it's mentorship or sponsorship and a sense of community, because your struggles are not atypical. They're not unique to you. So finding a community where you can talk about this in open can be very helpful. Another thing I will also say is that for Black post-secondary students is that they need to trust that they belong, even in spaces where they did not see many faces like you. I remember when I was in, university or in my master's program, oftentimes I was the only person of color in the room, but I knew I belonged because that's what I really wanted to do. So trust that you belong. And of course, use resources available to you. So whether it's academic support, career services, tutoring, financial aid, financial assistance like we're offering, or student organization, seek help early and then know where to go and get support to help you.
Right. No, that's great advice.
Can I just say, as the professor on this podcast, that response gets an A+. And the latter part of Chioma's response really matters, right? Students should take advantage of the full, breadth of resources available to them as students. I didn't as a student, right? So I was that student who showed up if my class started at 9. I showed up at 8:58.
Yeah.
If the class was done at 3, I was out of the classroom at 3:01.
Yeah.
But there's a CPA. There's a CPA college, what do you call it? There's always a CPA sort of a program on campus for its students. There's always speakers coming through from all the accounting firms. There's going to be an accounting association, college. Right. These are all resources that all students, Black students inclusive, should take advantage of, right? So that way, you go through a school with having taken advantage of the full breadth of resources your tuition, entitles you to, as opposed to just coming in, treating it like a transaction, showing up for classes, and then leaving. And again, I was that student, so it's not a criticism. It's just saying that knowing what I know right now, partaking in all of those campus activities. Every time the CPA is on campus, please attend. Every time an accounting firm is on campus, there's a speaker. Again, what I refer to as a future you is on campus. Go attend, right? Get to meet people, even if you feel there's not a lot of faces, that are necessarily, of the same background. That is how you connect into, Canadian society. That's how you become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, no, that's great advice too. I know that's one thing I wish I had done more in my post-secondary days. So in your view, then, what can employers and post-secondary institutions do to reduce or eliminate those obstacles?
Yeah, I think we've touched on it a little bit. I think strengthening mentorship and sponsorship programs, just like MMP was purporting to do. And I think this one is another big one. So just listen to lived experiences of people, of Black students, and act on their feedback. And the feedback could be, their voices providing insight to shape programs, whether it's policies or support structures. But I think that the biggest one is just mentorship and sponsorship programs, I would say.
Okay, great. So this podcast is going to be airing at the beginning of the month of February, which is Black History Month across Canada. Can you both comment on the importance of Black History Month and its significance in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, so Black History Month is a period where we celebrate Black Canadian heritage and ancestry. Black Canadians have been around for hundreds of years and contributing to the social and economic fabric of this country. Black Canadians are Black 365 days a year, but having one, but having a month, right, where there's that validation, where there's a bit of a spotlight on the culture, and there's a lot of fun stuff on the food, on arts, on the culture, on celebrating excellence, right? I think just helps remind us all that contrary to the way some of us might feel right now, that we live perhaps this is a post-DEI universe. It's a reminder that no, it isn't, right? We're welcome here, we belong here, we contribute to society, and we're here celebrating our heritage along with all our brothers, sisters, and obviously our indigenous hosts who have shared this beautiful land with us. So that's what Black History Month means. It's just an opportunity to celebrate cultural heritage and the brotherhood and kinship that all Canadians share with Black Canadians.
And the Government of Canada announced that the theme for this year's Black History Month is honoring Black brilliance across generations. So do you think that theme ties in nicely with the purpose of the scholarship that you've created with MNP?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the theme, like you said, honoring Black brilliance across generations, I think it aligns perfectly with the purpose of the scholarship we've created with MMP. So when you look at it, the award is not just only about supporting current Black students who aspire to be CPAs, right? It's not just for, right now.
Right.
It's also about recognizing, the resilience and the brilliance and the potential that has always existed within the Black community across generations. So not just for now, but let's look at across generations, right? So we're thinking that by investing in, Black students today, we're honoring the generations that came before us, those people who opened the doors and that help to shape generations that follow, right? And we feel like, this award or scholarship, it's really a way of celebrating excellence when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Creating opportunity that would otherwise have not existed and ensuring that the Black brilliance that I talked about continues to thrive through the accounting profession. So hopefully it spans across generation. We're investing now, but obviously we're celebrating excellence that came generations prior to us.
Yeah, let me, just one more quick plug for the profession, right? Anecdotally, you ask a grade 12 Black student who's passionate about making a difference, what they want to study. And again, this is anecdotal. If they're not doing the sciences, they'll likely say, I want to go become a lawyer. Right. Chioma and I want to show or tell grade 12 Black students that you can also bring about change economic change, social change by becoming a CPA, right? If you're not going into the sciences, you don't need to go become a lawyer. There's enough of them already, I think.
And CPAs are not boring.
And CPAs aren't, right?
They're not
CPAs
boring.
do a whole lot more than
crunching numbers.
People think. Yeah, I mean, that was, CPAs stopped crunching numbers after the war, right? I mean, since the Industrial Revolution, CPAs have become embedded across the breadth of business organizations. I mean, think of it. I mean, a CPA was a deputy minister, and he wasn't a deputy minister for finance, right? For trade, for immigration. These are all transferable skills that can be applied to, a universe of problems. And, what you want is a credential that helps you think critically, that helps you synthesize information in very powerful ways, and you can bring about change, right? By becoming an accountant. So we're also trying to attract, students to the profession and show them that they can achieve their economic aspirations, but also live a fulfilling professional life as well as a CPA.
Right. There's lots of opportunity for sure.
Yes, for sure.
So you have both made very significant commitment by joining with MNP to fund this award. Do you have any thoughts on the value and importance of CPAs giving back to the profession and to education in this way or other ways?
Yeah. In Africa, there's a proverb that says, if you want to go, fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together, right? It's just about community. So this is paying it forward. I think it's important for the growth of society.
Right.
Obviously, human agency is important. I was raised with those values. Chioma was raised with those values. She did not add that when she was a student, she was working full time, but there was still economic need, right? So, so it's not about making life easier for students. It's about making sure they can achieve their full potential. So we believe in agency. We believe people have to work hard, but we believe that a hand up can also help accelerate that process, but can also help them achieve exponential growth where maybe linear growth or even stagnated growth would have been the alternative. So I do encourage my friends and colleagues in the profession to support students in any way that they can. I was really impressed. I mean, there's a young gentleman, indigenous student I had when I was a professor at McEwan, and I saw that he's just seeded a scholarship for indigenous students, right? And I don't think it's been 5 years since he graduated. So I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to what he'll be doing when he becomes a partner. And by the way, he's at MMP. Let me add that. But as an individual, he's gone ahead 5 years out of his undergrad. He's set up a scholarship. If he can do it, if you're a partner, a director, a senior manager at any of the big firms, then you can.
Right.
And if you can single out a program, then please support the CPA Education Foundation, right? They do incredible work.
Absolutely.
And I couldn't think of a better organization to be supporting to help students achieve their full potential.
Yeah. And just to add to that, having sat on the board of the CPA Education Foundation board, I can tell you firsthand how much work they do. Just amazing bunch of, individuals. And I'm just incredibly proud and thankful to every single one of them because I know that the impact that they have to the profession. But like I always say, giving back creates a virtuous circle that makes everyone more successful.
Right.
And to give back, it doesn't have to be financial. It could be your time. We talked about mentorship and sponsorship. I mean, you could take up a mentee where you mentor them in various aspects, or you can decide to sponsor an individual. So it doesn't always have to be financial. You could also give your time as well. I know that CPA Canada, they typically send out, emails about volunteering. I do a lot of volunteering with CPA Canada,
Right.
CPA Alberta, where you have to go out and present, whether it's on financial literacy, taxation, entrepreneurship, just whatever topic. There's a slew of topics that, people have need and they need to learn about. So again, it's not just about, financial. It could also be about your time, your expertise, and, a lot of other things. But I believe at the end of the day, it just makes everyone, more successful.
Right. Pay it forward in any way you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk briefly about the award itself. Like just the basics. How much is the award worth? How many are being awarded each year? And what's the criteria to apply?
Yes, absolutely. So before I even start, I just wanted to say that the application deadline is February 15th, so a day after Valentine's Day. So that's the plug. So if you really want to apply for this award, the application deadline is February 15th. But it's two student awards in the amount of $3,000 each per student.
Nice.
And these two awards will be granted annually to post-secondary students enrolled in the second year of either a Bachelor of Business Administration, a Bachelor of Management, or a Bachelor of Commerce at an Alberta accredited post-secondary institution.
Okay.
The applicants must self-identify as Black, demonstrate academic excellence with a minimum GPA of 3.0, and express an interest in pursuing a career in accounting. But definitely preference will be given to applicants with indicated financial need, if they have one, academic excellence, and a declared major in accounting. So it's really two awards, $3,000 per student, granted annually to post-secondary students enrolled in their second year of business programs.
Great. Well, I think we're getting pretty close to the end here, so why don't we end with a fun question? Can each of you say something about the other that you would like people to know? So let's start with you, Chioma. What's something about Ako that you would like the world to know?
Oh, something about Ako I'd like the world to know. Ooh. Let's see here. This hasn't been officially announced yet, but I would say you guys are lucky on this podcast because I'm officially announcing that Ako Lisa Ufodike is running for political office.
Oh,
yay!
breaking news.
Breaking news. Yes. So watch out for the formal announcement and everything that goes on with that. And yeah.
Okay. Well, it's your turn, Ako.
Well, I'm glad I just found that out.
Oh, you didn't know?
But Chioma is also running. She's running a half marathon this year. But yeah, Chioma enjoys running. I thought, and so do I. But Chioma's, I think it's, third consecutive year, right? She's done a half marathon. She was going to do the big one this year, London.
Nice.
I guess they didn't make it in. I'll be rooting for her to do the London Marathon next year. But yeah, look out for Chioma, blowing by you at the Calgary Marathon sometime
and
this
show
summer.
your support so I can meet my personal best. Yay!
Okay. Well, both great answers. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, Ako and Chioma, for being guests on our podcast. It's been great to chat with you, learn more about you. And great to hear about your generosity and paying it forward and living those words, not just saying them. So on behalf of the CPA Education Foundation, thank you for your vision and your dedicated commitment to tomorrow's CPAs.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And as Chioma mentioned, if you are thinking about applying for the 2026 MNP and Ufodike Business Award of Excellence for Black Post-Secondary Students, this podcast episode is being aired on February 5th. So the deadline to apply is February 15th. So be sure to hurry and get your applications in by that deadline. You can find more information on our website at cpaalberta.ca/scholarships. And if you need more information, you can always email the foundation at cpaef@cpaalberta.ca. Thanks for listening.
The Uncommon Sense podcast is presented by the CPA Education Foundation and funded by the Heshe CPA Knowledge Center. The Knowledge Center was created through a generous donation by the late Brian Heshe. Brian was a distinguished Albertan, business leader, CPA, educator, and community builder. His generosity and commitment to education underpinned his good works across Alberta throughout his lifetime. The opinions expressed on Uncommon Sense do not necessarily reflect the views of the CPA Education Foundation. We would like to acknowledge that CPA Education Foundation offices are situated on the traditional Treaty 6 and Treaty 7 territories and Métis Nation homeland. The Foundation acknowledges that we reside on traditional and ancestral territories of many Indigenous, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Their histories and culture influence our community to this day. The Foundation is committed to helping build a province where Indigenous people and their voices and experiences are heard, valued, respected, and celebrated. Technical and recording services for this podcast provided by Wolf Willow Studios in Edmonton. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about us. If you have any comments about the podcast, write to us at cpaef@cpaalberta.ca. To learn more about the CPA Education Foundation and the Heshe CPA Knowledge Center, visit cpaalberta.ca/foundation. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for the CPA Education Foundation.